Sure, appreciate it again. Appreciate all you guys showing up today. Want to also talk about this week, which is a big week for us in terms of it's our mental awareness game. Once again, we're partnering with my great friend Rachel Barbeau and her I'm Changing the Narrative organization, along with Michigan State as well as the Big Ten, all taking part in raising awareness with mental health. Obviously, it's something, a cause that is near and dear to me, having been affected with mental health with my son Miko. I know Coach Tucker, Commissioner Warren, Rachel will be here all week taking part in PSAs that will be coming out in reference to this game, but I know Rachel's here today and glad that she'll have a chance to speak with you guys about that once I'm done. A little bit about the Michigan game. After watching the tape, we're in search of continuous improvement, and I think that's what the tape shows. Every week, every person in our program, from coaches to players, are looking to find a way to improve. And I thought, even though it was a tough loss and we never celebrate those, I thought we did see improvement out of our team, which is what we got to have. I know that we can play better. I know we can coach better. I think we all agree and know that. Anyone watching that game can see the growth of our program. Players see it, which is a testament to the investment that they make each and every day from the end of last season till now. The investment that these guys have made, I've been really pleased with, and they work really hard each and every day along with our coaches, but we're still not there. We stood toe to toe with the reigning champion, but we're still not there. So that means we got work to do. We still have work to do as a program, but I'm proud of the way that our guys have responded after the loss, the way they're preparing. We had a really good, energized practice yesterday. Obviously, Tuesday and Wednesdays are our really big work days where they play a major role in what happens on Saturday, and I like the way we've started and plan on facing a challenge. When you talk about Michigan State, well-coached team. I know Mel Tucker personally. I've known him a long time. The job he did a year ago with that team, and even where they are today, I know he's facing quite a bit of injuries, which has made it a challenge for us as we prepare, because I know that he's lost close to 4 to 7 starters possibly on defense. I know they've dealt with injuries on the offensive side of the ball. They've played 2 top 25 teams. They've had 2 losses to 2 top 25 teams, both Washington and Minnesota, which are undefeated. And so, when you look at their record, it's easy to say, hey, they're struggling. But when you watch the tape like we do as coaches, they've played 2 really formidable opponents, or have 2 losses to really two good teams. And so we expect them to come in here to try to get back on track here in the Shell this Saturday. And we've got to do everything we can and the things that we can control to not let that happen. They've got talent still on all 3 phases. They've got a great pass rusher on the defensive side of the ball. They got Reed back, the receiver is back. He played some last week. Keon Coleman, the other receiver, Peyton Thorne, who had a big year for them a year ago. So they still have really talented players. They're a well-coached team, and we're looking forward to the opportunity of hosting them here in the Shell at 3:30. Our captains for this week, Talia Tungabailoa, Darrell Chami, and Isaiah Hazel will serve as our captains leading us into the game against Michigan State. And so with that, I will open it up to any questions.
Start with Dave to your right.
Mike, first and foremost, script on the helmets this week. How excited are you to have that?
I've been on the record, will continue to be on the record. It's my favorite uniform. We all have bosses, we all have branding and jobs to do. So, the fact that we get to wear script Terp is something that I appreciate that we're able to do a couple times a year.
There's no chance of the other uniforms getting lost at all?
Those outside of my wheelhouse.
Specifically about the game, Peyton Thorne, he threw for 287 yards against you guys last year. What makes him special?
Well, talented quarterback, has the ability to make plays with both his arm and his feet. A year ago, I know they had a big-time running back, Kenny Walker. They've got the Broussard transfer from Colorado, I think, who's also an excellent running back. Big, tall guy, makes all the throws. Been in this league a little bit, having transferred into Michigan State. So just the arm talent is there.
Ryan up front.
From a health standpoint, how's Talia doing after being banged up a little bit against Michigan? And Also, that same question in regards to Rakim after banging his head against the field.
Yeah, both those guys will be game day decisions. We'll stay right in line with every other coach in the Big Ten who doesn't disclose their injuries, and just we'll see what happens on game day. But I think they both are progressing nicely, but we'll have to make that decision as we move closer to the end of the week and see how they prepare.
Coach, can you give a critique of your own run game and how your offensive line is doing at this point?
Critique of my own run game. For the year, for the last game,
I'll just go with last game.
it wasn't good enough. We didn't run the ball efficiently enough to win the game, so it wasn't good enough. As I've said before, that was something that we've worked really hard on in the offseason, being able to have a complementary run attack to go with the passing attack. I think if you look at us for the course of the season thus far, I've been pleased with the direction we've headed, but when it came to last week and being able to run the ball efficiently, we didn't do it well enough to win the game.
Hey, Coach, can you just talk about Brian Williams? You guys are really set up. Your guys were put in position pretty well against Michigan last week, and can you talk about the overall execution of the defense against the number 4 ranked team in the country?
Yeah, I mean, I don't think any of the 3 phases a week ago, like I said, played well enough for us to win. If there's if there's any disappointment in last week, is that we wanted to go in and stop the run, and Blake Corum had his way with us, rushing for over 200 yards. The great part about it, though, is that the defense has continued to be opportunistic. They created some turnovers for us last week that really helped us maintain, closing distance on the number 4 team in the country. I'm really happy with the job Bryant, the defensive staff, is doing in terms of the adjustments they make. If you look at the last couple of games, they've done a really good job of adjusting things after we see kind of how they want to attack us. So again, we're still a work in progress where we need to create more turnovers. Our best players got to play well, especially in critical situations. But I do like the way that our defensive staff has given us a chance and prepared our defense to go out and play efficiently.
And you said last week that you want to prepare your team every single game like you're playing Michigan, like you're playing Alabama, those big teams, and you were with Alabama, so every game that you guys played was the big game. So now that you guys are in conference play, how do you feel your team has responded to the way that you're trying to set them up every week?
These guys are listening. They're buying in. They're bought in. Every game is a big game for us because it's our next, regardless of the opponent. And I know that, and I'm going on the record to say that when I talk about us not taking care of business, there's no disrespect to the other team, because obviously for them to win the game, they played well. But I focus on the things we need to do to put ourselves in position to win. And when I talk about giving up cheap touchdowns and not making the plays that are to be made, that's because we focus on us. We don't focus on really what the other team is doing. Now, obviously, we scheme and design a defense, offense, and special teams to try to take away the things they do well, but ultimately, the defenses, the offenses, and the special team schemes we come up with, they're designed to work, and it's a matter of us executing better than the other team. And we didn't do that the last game. We've had our share where we've executed really well in each 3 phase, and in our pursuit of perfection, we hope to put it all together this week for Michigan State.
When you mentioned kind of going toe-to-toe with such a great team with the players, do you lean into that at all in a way to give them confidence and know they can compete against these teams? And does that make this kind of early season loss feel different in any way than some of the ones you guys have had in past years?
None of them feel good. A loss is a loss. To me, the thing that I like best is the way we're responding, the way we traveled after that loss. These kids nowadays kind of get over losses pretty quickly, and you can tell by how loud it is on the bus by the time hour after the game, and it's as if it's over. But that's not the case. Our team has shown great maturity, and I think because of the type of investment that they've made, that's where the disappointment comes from. And I like the way that we're responding to the loss. But to use that as a litmus test to say, hey, we're there. We still got a lot of work to do. We're still in the developmental stage of our program. We're still chasing, playing a perfect game, and being able to execute at a high level to find a way to win games like that.
Coach, one of the big improvements from SMU to Michigan was the amount of penalties. You guys only had 1 in the game against Michigan. What do you attribute the most to that significant improvement over a week?
I punish my kids for not doing things the way I raised them to do it.
Hey, Coach. You guys handled the blitz pretty well against Michigan. What went into that?
Monday through Friday preparation, executing the communication that goes along up front to you know, we tried to tempo on third down to keep the exotic pressures off the field. You know, our O-line coach and our quarterback all got together and really did a good job of having those guys prepared, and they executed that part of our game plan really well.
And does the center make protection calls for you guys?
Well, you want me to tell everybody what we do? I mean, you have to figure that out.
In the back.
Coach, thank you. You mentioned at the beginning of the mental awareness game that's coming up. Is there a specific conversation you have with the players when a special game like that comes up? Like, I know you guys were wearing the green ribbons right now. Is there a specific conversation you have with them?
I mean, we always talk about it, not just this week, but I think this week and the fact that, you know, from a marketing standpoint, our marketing people created a mental health awareness game. Once I got here, this was something that was important to me. Obviously, administration has gotten behind it. We brought in Rachel and her group to help us bring awareness. We've done it against Minnesota on the road. We did it a year ago here at home against Iowa. This is something that I expect us to do each and every year. Mental health awareness is not just a one-week thing for our team. It's an everyday thing. We always talk about, you know, if you don't feel good, tell us. And we put resources, and you know, Damon Evans and Colleen Storm, my bosses, have put a tremendous amount of resources into an understanding just how important the mental health of our student athletes are. And so not just this week, even though this game kind of features that, but this is something that is an everyday thing within our program.
Any other questions for Coach? Back to Dave. On your right, Mike's coming.
You mentioned Michigan State's pass rush earlier. I think they're tied for the league lead in sacks. What makes them such a tough, pass rush?
Yeah, they took the linebacker with Weidman, and he was a linebacker. They put him down in pass rush. I think he has like 5 to 7 sacks right now. They've created a bunch of turnovers. Mel and his staff has done a really good job on the defensive side of the ball of getting after the quarterback. But the talent there of the pass rusher that they've put out there on the edge really creates some issues. And so for us, we've got to do a great job of making sure we don't let that guy kind of disrupt our game plan, and we've got to continue to protect our quarterback.
All right, thank you, Coach.
Thanks, guys.